Hey everyone, and welcome back to Project ZX7 X Ninja. It's been 7 months now, and I'm still on this crazy mission of squeezing a 2008 ZX10R engine into my classic 1994 ZX7. In the last video, I wrapped up the center frame hanger bracket. But when I went to start on the drop bracket, I realized the hanger bracket wasn't quite how it needed to be. Just a heads up, in this project I show everything step by step. Sometimes that might look like repetitive footage, but it's because there are often mistakes along the way, and I want you to see the whole process, even the hiccups. So with that said, let's jump in and get this left frame hanger bracket dialed in, and begin on the engine drop-down bracket. Well, I'll take that. This part of the bracket needs trimming to make room for the engine mount nut. Let's start. The hanger bracket is nearing completion, but the connection point for the drop bracket isn't finished yet. Now for the drop bracket. I'm going to draw a circle and drill a hole to mark the center point for the drop bracket attachment. Basically, a starting point. I'll use a black marker to create a small mark at the estimated center point for the drop bracket. This will help me visualize the center and ensure I accurately place the mark made by the digital calipers when I measure the precise center. Safety goggles on? Check. Coffee? Definitely check. Okay, time to make some chips. Moment of truth. Let's see if my paper cutout masterpiece actually lines up with this hunk of aluminum. And it fits. Time to move on. Now that the drop bracket fits the design, it's time to join it with the hanger bracket. To create a secure sliding mechanism for additional support, we'll machine a 4mm step on each side of the drop bracket. This will allow it to align and slide within the hanger bracket. We need to transfer the hole from the hanger bracket over to the drop bracket, and we'll ditch it later when we refine the drop bracket's final design. To get this hole lined up between the hanger bracket and the drop bracket, we're going to use a little trick. We need a round bar for precision, and wait for it, some pink nail polish. To transfer the hole location, we're going to dab a tiny bit of pink nail polish on the tip of this round bar. Then we carefully push the bar through the hole in the hanger bracket until it touches the drop bracket on the other side. This will leave a small mark on the drop bracket, showing us exactly where to drill our pilot hole. Now for the pilot hole. We want it big enough to comfortably fit the round stock, but no deeper than 1mm. This gives us some wiggle room to fine-tune the placement later. We'll use a sharp tool to meticulously scratch or score a precise outline of the drop bracket onto the hanger bracket. This careful marking ensures a clean cut when we remove the channel material next. A black marker makes the cut line stand out much clearer, so I can follow it precisely. Well, try to anyways. For the initial run, I'm going to machine a shallow channel and ensure there's a 1mm clearance on each side of the hanger bracket to accommodate for the powder coating. Taking a closer inspection to ensure the fit is precise and double checking that no further adjustments are necessary. I'm ready to machine the back of the hanger bracket flat. For this task, there's no tool more suitable than a fly cutter.
Let's party.
One tool, one flat surface.
You might be thinking, didn't this guy already machine the channel here? Well, you'd be right. It's time for round 2, this time with the flat surface and all the measurements squarely in my head.
Let's party.
The channel's all prepped, and now we move on to the drop bracket. At first glance, it might look straightforward, but the side that connects to the hanger bracket is a whole other story. No wonder I'm starting to see some funky shapes. These angles are going to be a challenge, or in my case, a nightmare. For the upcoming minute, I'll be silent while I tackle some intricate angle calculations. Since they're quite perplexing, I'll spare you the confusion and keep the commentary to myself. The fact is, I'm confused as hell. Earlier on in the video, I drilled a temporary pilot hole through the drop-down bracket. Now with the angles of the hanger and bracket finalized, it's time to drill the actual hole at the correct angle to the drop-down bracket. You don't need to use a magic marker for the next step, but some habits are hard to break. With the pin already in the hanger bracket and all the alignment marks aligned, it's time. With one hit of the hammer, the whole center is transferred. When drilling a hole, it's crucial to ensure the part is aligned correctly. Once the part is secured straight in the vise, I'll begin by drilling a pilot hole. Then proceed with a drill bit that's 30% smaller than the target diameter. The remaining 30% of the diameter will be precisely machined using a boring bar, which offers greater accuracy than drill bits that may deviate and create an oval-shaped hole. Building custom parts is like dating. There's a lot of trial and error before things fit just right. But unlike dating, you can always shave a little more off. So don't get too attached to the first try. Now that everything's aligned, we can proceed to the next step, milling the counterbore. Sometimes the simplest things amaze me. Next, let's proceed to counterbore the other hole. With a boring head, I have the capability to create a hole as large as 2 inches in diameter. However, for this particular task, a half-inch hole will suffice. Separately, the machine parts look great, except when you put them together, they look like they belong in a different puzzle. Time for some creative sculpting. The bracket was made for the right side, and the groove in it was for a bolt, but ended up on the left side. The groove is unnecessary and looks out of place. It needs adjusting to make it look as if it was an intentional part of the original design.
Give it to me.
It's definitely an improvement. However, this looks better.
Give it to me.
At last, following 50 hours of effort, the bracket assembly is now complete. But there's one more thing that needs to be done.
Give it to me.
The engine bracket needs a smooth flat surface to make a solid connection with the drop-down bracket. But this engine casing extrusion is anything but flat. We can't use a milling machine for this one, so we're going to bust out some good old-fashioned elbow grease and file this baby flat by hand. I've been filing away for what feels forever, but isn't flat enough. Time to grab the straight edge and see how well this filing arm held up. Once the engine is out, we can take it to the next level of flatness.
Come on, check this out.
I hope you've enjoyed this segment of the build. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated and it really helps to grow the channel. Always hug your pet. Safety first, thrill next. Stay safe and keep rolling.